All right, good morning, sixth graders. It is Thursday, April 16th, and I hope you're all doing well and your family's doing well and you're enjoying your time at home and also leaving some time to get some schoolwork done. All right, so today we are going to work on integers, understanding positive and negative integers. We're going to start on page 18. All right, so it says label 0 at the correct spot on the number line. Well, we know that this point and this point have to be the same distance from 0. So let's see, we have to see if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got our point and we're going to label it here. That's our 0. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 5. And to the left of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. All right, label the point plot. Okay, we did that and we did that. We labeled it 5 and negative 5. All right, use this list of numbers to answer the following questions. Which numbers are rational numbers that are not integers? All right, it says use this list of numbers to answer the following questions. All right, which numbers are rational numbers that are not integers? Okay, well, an integer is a whole number. So 0, 4, 16 are whole numbers. So integers are not fractions. All right, so we know that integers are whole numbers. So 0, 4, 16 are whole numbers. Okay, so fractions are not integers. So we would put here 2/3. Oops, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, so we're going to put here 2/3. And we're going to put negative 1.8 because 1.8 can be represented as a fraction, 1 and 8/10. All right, 3.2, again, this is representative as 3 and 2/10, so that can be a fraction. And then negative 5/4. Okay, so fractions are not integers. All right, of the remaining numbers, which are integers but not whole numbers? All right, well, negative 2 is an integer, but it's not a whole number. Whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Those are whole numbers. All right, and so of the remaining numbers, which are whole numbers? All right, 0 would be a whole number. And 4 would be a whole number. And 16 would be a whole number. All right? All right. All right, let's look at some of these terms here so that we can understand these a little better. I'm going to change this to typing. So this, well, hold on. Try this again. All right. The counting numbers and 0 are considered whole numbers. So the counting numbers are the numbers that start with 1 and you just count into infinity. And when you add 0 to that group, that's your whole numbers. Okay? All right, the counting numbers and their opposites along with 0 are called, so you know negative and positive numbers are called integers. And integers and the decimal equivalents of fractions those are the rational numbers. So integers and the decimal equivalents of fractions are rational numbers. Oops. All right, good. All right, let's continue. to the next page, page 19. All right, on here it says plot and label 4, -3, 1, and their opposites on the number line. All right, well, first we have to find 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to go here. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, here. Okay, so actually we can make it, if we make it here, which is fine, although we have to make sure we have an, okay, either one, it will work. Let's see here. If we do here, which we can, this is 0. And then when you plot them, you're going to, well, let's just count our numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, and 5. All right, now you know that the opposites, or to the left of 0, I should say, before we get to the opposites, this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. Okay, so we know that if this line continued, we'd have 6 here and 7 here, and this would be -7, -8. This shows that the line continues. All right, but we've got all 3 of these on this line, okay, and that's what we needed to do. All right, it says plot and label 4 and its opposite. All right, well, you know to plot 4. Now, the opposite of 4 is what? I hope you said -4. Those are opposites. All right, so if we go here to -3, and then we have to plot its opposite, the opposite of -3 is 3, right? All right, and then it says to plot 1, and then plot the opposite of 1. I think you know that by now. You got the pattern here going. We know that the opposites are the same distance from 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is 4 away from 0, and its opposite, 1, 2, 3, 4, is 4 to the left of 0. Same for -3, 3 to the left. The opposite is 3 to the right. All right, so you plot the opposite of 1. All right, so now let's take a look at the number 5. If several points are graphed on a number line, is the point that is the farthest from 0 always the greatest? All right, so we know that to the right of 0, they always get bigger. And to the left of 0, they always get smaller. So negative numbers are always smaller than positive numbers, okay? So let's look, it says if several points are graphed on a number line, is the point that is the farthest from 0 always the greatest? Well, remember, look, here's 6, or -6, I'm sorry. And even though that's 6 is a bigger number than 5, it's negative, so it's actually smaller. So and it's 6 away from 0, okay? So this point is the farthest from 0, and it's the smallest on this number line, okay? This one is not as far from 0, but it would be the greatest number, even though this is 5 and that's -6. So I hope that helps. Is the point that is the farthest from 0 always the greatest? And I hope you can see from my explanation, the answer to that would be no, because it depends Here, I'm going to change this to well, I can't because it'll erase everything. It depends. Depends, oh dear, on whether the number is positive or negative. It depends on whether, oops, the number is positive or negative. Positive oops, oh dear, or negative. Negative numbers are always smaller than positive numbers. Negative. Oh, I'm so sorry that this is sloppy. I'm trying to get better at this, but it's not easy. All right, so as you can see, even though the number 6 is bigger than 5, negative 6 is smaller than 5. So if the number is furthest away, but it's negative, it's going to be smaller. All right, good. All right, on to page 20. I'm going to do a couple of these examples, and then I'm going to let you do some practice ones. All right, so we know that this symbol means less than. This one means less than. Oops. That's that one. This one means greater than. All right, so this one is less than, and this symbol here is greater than. Okay? All right, so 7. Now these are whole numbers, these are integers. These are just your regular numbers, so this one's going to be easy. 7 we know is less than 10. When they get challenging is when we get into the negative ones. All right, so listen, this is 7, it's positive, and all positive numbers are greater than all negative numbers. So 7 is greater than negative 10. All right, so this one's a little tricky, but if you have to think about it. Let me see if I can put a number line up here. Whoops. So -1, -2, -3, -4, okay, well, I couldn't get all the way to -10, but here's -7, okay? Now, -10 would be further to the left, and to the left is always smaller. So even though it's a 10, it's a -10. So -7 is actually larger than -10. So this is greater than, okay? All right, I'm going to let you do some of these. Let me look at a couple that might be tricky. Do you see this big 50? But it's negative. And this is 3/10, but it's positive. So 3/10 would, here's 1, and 3/10 would be about here. So -50, even though 50 is a big number and 3/10 is a small fraction, -50 is smaller than a positive 3/10. You see how that works? All right, good. Well, good luck with that. Give that a try. And use this number line. If you need to draw a longer number line on scrap paper so that you can extend the numbers, you can do that. All right, so this says write each set of numbers in order from least to greatest. So least is the smallest, greatest is the biggest. Okay, well, we already know that all negative numbers are smaller than positive. So we know that these are going to be smallest, okay? So which one is farthest from 0? Here's -1, here's -2. So -2 is farther away from 0 than -1. So -2 is your smallest one. Whoops. And then -1. And then this is easy because we know that 4 comes next, and then 5 is the greatest. You see how that works? So just remember, when you're doing least to greatest, any negative number is going to be smaller than any positive number. So let's first look at the negatives. So this is 3, and this represents 3 and 5/10. So here's 3. 3 and 5/10 is 3.5. So here's 3.5. So which one is smaller? 3.5, remember, is farther to the left than 3. So -3.5 is the smallest. Then -3. Okay. Next we have +3 and 4/10. And then we have 7. Ooh, oh boy. This is going to be tricky. I'm probably going to lose all my writing when that little thing comes up. I usually lose everything. So the next one is 7. Oh, I didn't that time. Wow. All right. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Let me pause this for a minute. Okay, let's do a couple more examples. Let's look at 16. So remember, even with fractions, negatives are smaller than positives. Sorry, I lost my train of thought and I lost my number line. Oh dear. All right, so let me draw a quick one right here. Whoops. Okay, so we've got here, we would have 0 and we have 1 here. Oh my goodness. This is 1. Okay, now a half would be right in the middle. So this is -1/2, -1/2, sorry, -1/2. This is -1. All right, so -1/3 is smaller than a half. It would be about there. This is -1/3. So now we can look at this and decide which is smallest, -1/2 or -1/3. Which one is farther from 0? So -1/2 is smallest. Whoops. -1/2. Then we've got -1/3. All right, so now look at our positives, 1/3 and 1/2. Same thing over here. If this is +1, right in the middle is 1/2. Positive. And then right over here would be 1/3. So okay, so the next one would be 1/3 and then 1/2. All right, I hope that helps. Let's see, how many problems is that? 1, 2, 3, 9, and we did 3, so that would leave 6 for you to give you some practice. I think that's doable. All right, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, well, I just noticed that we didn't do 19. Describe how to determine which of two negative numbers is greater. Okay, well, we can use this right here to help us. So on a horizontal number line, this is horizontal, you see the number to the right is greater. The number to the right is greater. The number to the right Right is greater. All right. So let me just show you, and we really already talked about it when we did this last problem, but I'll show you again. So, for instance, 1/3 and 1/2. It says, describe how to determine which of two negative numbers is greater. Well, on a horizontal number line, the number to the right is greater. So here, -1/3 is to the right of 1/2. Sorry, guys. All right, so see, -1/3 is to the right of -1/2. So -1/3 is greater than -1/2, just like you see it here. -1/3 is greater. So if it's to the right, the one that's to the right is the greatest in negative numbers. All right. All right, I hope that helps, and I will see you Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Bye.